Hello, ESF family. I'm up here in Bray Hall with Bramble. We're working hard here. I just want to tell you all how much I miss you. It's kind of lonely here on campus. Miss seeing you on our walks when Bramble and I walk around the campus. So I just wanted to connect with you in maybe a little more personal way. Now Bramble's mauling Stephanie, who's 6 feet away. We're practicing social distancing. That's probably why the camera should. Come on, Bramble. And just wanted to try and connect with you. Bramble, come here. Just wanted to try and connect with you on a more personal level, and we thought maybe Facebook Live would work. So first I want you to know that I'm well. I have not come down with the virus yet, and my wife Mindy is well as well, and we are being careful about that. Bramble is great, although he's lonely and misses all of you and all the pets he gets from you down at the gateway when we walk through. So I know we all have this strange daily routine we're going through, and we're all missing each other. I think everyone's realizing we're just social monkeys, and we like hanging out with each other. We really miss that. My daily routine is to get up, and Bramble and I go take a walk around the boardwalk in Labrador Hollow where we live, to calm down before coming into work. And then we come in, and my day is filled with Zoom meetings, and lots of Zoom meetings. Bramble, come here. Lots of Zoom meetings. This is getting a little difficult. You need to behave, mister. I'm also on what are called the COVID huddle meetings. In my role at Upstate Medical University as Vice President for Research, we have a 9 a.m. and 4 a.m. meeting about the status, a lot about the hospital, but also about a number of research projects on COVID-19 that we're doing at Upstate, specifically to try and test out therapeutics that help people get better when they get the virus. After my day, I go home and make dinner for Mindy and myself. We're eating a lot of Szechuan food these days, which I really like to cook. Although I think I'm stress eating, I'm gaining a little weight. It's not great. Someone calls it the COVID-15, right? And a friend of mine has a sign on their refrigerator. They're working from home that says, "Are you really hungry?" Because she's putting on weight, during all of this as well. After dinner, we usually watch an episode of Righteous Gemstones and then go to bed, and I get up the next morning and do it all again. Do the grocery shopping on Saturday, and we're socially isolating Mindy because she has worse asthma than I do, and I do the shopping, and then Sunday, usually Bramble and I go on a long hike somewhere down in Labrador Hollow usually. We've been going out this last week, a couple nights, to see the running of the salamanders. So this time of year, when we have a warm night with a lot of rain, the yellow-spotted salamanders come down off the hillside by the thousands and to go make babies in the vernal ponds around Labrador Hollows. That's always a fun event. And it really speaks to the fact that Mother Nature is immune to this virus and is marching forward. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our decision-making over the last several weeks, which has been described to me as arbitrary, capricious, and changing every day. And it's not been arbitrary, not been capricious, but it has been sometimes changed every day. And I would just make the point that I knew we would get to this state of operations where we would be shutting the campus down more or less. And that's from my biomedical background and sitting in on these COVID meetings. I just didn't know how quickly we were going to get there. And so it was sort of this staged march to that point. And we tried to be as proactive to keep the community, the ESF community, but also the community we live in, as safe as possible. And I'll give you one example of a proactive decision we made, and then try to explain why we made that decision. So as we approached spring break, we told the students in Centennial Hall, if you leave, you are not welcome to come back to the dormitory. And there's a video that I would want you to watch that will explain entirely the reasons behind that decision. If you go to YouTube and you put in Tectonic GEO Spring Break 2020, that's Tectonic GEO Spring Break 2020, there's a great video where they take a 1 mile stretch of a beach in Fort Lauderdale during spring break and follow the cell phones in that area as they redistribute throughout the country and potentially bring the virus back to various parts of the country. We don't think ESF students are really the Fort Lauderdale Beach type, but it really speaks to the point that on spring break there was probably not a lot of social distancing, and we knew that you'd likely bring the virus back into the dormitory. There's no way to practice social distancing in a dormitory. And sure enough, ultimately SUNY advised us to empty our dormitories of everyone but except the most essential people. And so there's a handful, about a dozen students that remain in Centennial because right now they're unable to go home. And so we're taking care of them, they're fed, and they're safe, but that was, we knew we would get to that end point eventually, and we're proactive in our decision making. A lot of our decisions are also informed by data. If you know me, you know I'm a scientist, and I'll just show one of these familiar things you've probably seen of graphs like this, these curves. And this is data specifically for SUNY Upstate's hospitals and what they can expect. Bramble, come here. Bramble, off. Come here. He hasn't had his walk yet. These graphs show us what we expect based on the current shape of the curve. And in Syracuse, we're at the base of a curve in an acceleration phase. And it's enough data to start to model what we think will happen in Onondaga County in particular. And the models show right now that we're looking at a peak in mid-June. And so I know the students, the seniors, are terribly disappointed that commencement has been delayed and postponed, but I think you can see that we really couldn't hold commencement in person in the middle of the peak of the outbreak, or the beginning of the peak of the outbreak. And so, again, to emphasize that our decisions are informed by data, and they're designed to try and protect you, your families, and the community in central New York. There are students that are in quarantine. One I know of, and the 4 roommates have been in quarantine for almost 10 days now, I believe. And unfortunately, they're still waiting for a test result, which is really unacceptable. But we've been taking good care of them. They get a daily reach out from me, usually with a video of Bramble, which they've been enjoying. They needed to exercise, so Shane Ware took them a stationary bike. And Shane, if you remember, is one of our staff that designed the Frisbee. So Shane helped them out and took them one of the stationary bikes from Centennial Hall. They appreciated that. And then I'm aware of one student that came back from abroad and was in quarantine because they tested positive. If you are in quarantine, either because you're waiting for a test result or you've tested positive, I'd love to hear from you. And what I can promise is daily reach outs with maybe a video of Bramble to try and keep your spirits up. So that's kind of much of what I wanted to say. We
have a question about laptops. There's a student who's wondering about when the laptops
might be.
Oh,
thank you for asking about that. They have shipped and they're on their way. So I'm hoping we'll have them by the end of the week. And I said to Provost Newman, look, we'll get in a car and drive them to the students if we have to. But we have a list of students. I don't know exactly what will come in the first tranche of laptops. There's going to be a ship. There's one ship was shipped yesterday. Another shipment is going to happen this week, and another shipment after that. And I know this is the biggest challenge right now. We're very concerned. Some students have some technical difficulties. We're trying to address them as best we can, and encouraging our faculty to be flexible if students don't have access to a laptop and high-speed internet. I do know that there are many communities that are setting up hotspots in parking lots. You might want to look into that in your community. Also, people are parking in library parking lots and tapping into libraries' internet, which I believe is being left on by a number of libraries. So, laptops are on their way. We'll let you know as soon as we have them, and then we'll figure out how to get them to you as quickly as possible. Any more questions?
None that I'm seeing.
So remember again, Mother Nature is immune to this and is going to be marching forward. And if I know anything about ESF students, you love to be in the woods. I'm spending as much time in the woods, and this is a great great time of year because this is when things become really spectacular. It starts with the bloodroot, then usually the trout lilies down where I live. Soon after, the marsh marigolds come out, the trillium, the jacket of pulpits, and I particularly look forward to the wild leeks, which I like to cook with and make a great risotto, so keep that in mind. But harvest them sustainably, please. So if there are no more questions, I really miss all of you. Looking forward to seeing you in the future. Take care and keep your spirits up, and remember, counseling services is there to help you deal with the stress of this. Bye from me and Bramble.